Hello everyone, this is my first, cannot believe this is my first official video of 2023 at the time of this recording. It's been exactly 4 months. Before we get into this thing, just want to give an update really quick. This is my new laptop that I had just gotten back at the time of this recording. And unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be an SD card reader, so when I do get back to my Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, I just fast-forward the new one. They'll be here by the Saturday. But that's not what you're here for, as what you saw of what I just pulled up. We are now about to get into the next episode of Season 7 of Friendship is Magic. And it's a not very good episode. It's honestly probably one of the most boring episodes of the season. But we'll probably get more into as to why, as I'm trying to stall as much as possible of reasons of not to review this episode. But I said I was going to review every episode of every season of the show, and I'm still on Season 7, and I want to get to 8 and 9 and talk about some episodes there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just tackle it now. This is Honest Apple. So this episode starts out with Rarity putting out a bunch of flyers around as basically she just does her thing. Of what exactly, we don't know yet.
Yeah, right. Just happened to be walking past.
Anyway, she passes out the flyers as Pinky basically decides to go out and ask Rarity what's going on.
I'm organizing a showcase for inspiring young designers. Oh, wow! What an awesome idea! Thank you. I remember how difficult it was to break into the fashion industry when I was starting out. That's why the winner of the contest will get to debut their line in the Carousel Boutique. So selfless.
Well, she has the element of generosity, and I guess Rarity's now become so popular that she's now basically holding contests. I think maybe now we should probably see how many there are. I mean, they could go on to do Project Runway, but the judges are very picky for that. And speaking of the judges, she essentially has to pick certain judges.
The third judge for the Carousel Boutique's Couture Fashion Contest is none other than Applejack! What?
You know, I was going to do that joke where basically to continue on with the what, because that pretty much explains everything. But yes, essentially the judges for Rarity's fashion contest are two fashion icons in Equestria. Spoilers, it is Hoity Toity, who I don't think we've seen since I think green isn't your color, and Photo Finish. And the third judge is Applejack. Yeah. 2 fashion designers and a country pony. I mean, there's a lot of things to ask, but thankfully after the theme song, Applejack basically overhears this and goes to Rarity and asks why.
What? You already said that, Dad. I know, but I had to say it again because that's how confused I am. You want me to judge a fashion show? I'm sure Rarity has her reasons, and once we hear them, all of this will make sense. I admit, Applejack is an unorthodox choice, but that is precisely what makes her an inspired choice. See? Now it all still doesn't make any sense. Hoity Toity has expertise in fabric and stitch work. Photo Finish has an artistic eye for shapes and colors, but sometimes we designers forget about practicality. That's where you come in.
That still doesn't make any sense. I mean, other than that one stupid contrived plot convenience in simple ways, Applejack has not done anything fashion related. Hell, not even in the... Oh my god, see, I'm so tired because this is like hard to wrap around on why Applejack of all people.
I think I might be a little too practical. That closet's nothing but 20 versions of this hat. Which tells me you're a pony who knows what she likes. Besides, a judge must be honest. And you're the most honest pony there is.
I'm mean, even though she is the element of honesty, let us not forget that there have been episodes where she has lied. I'm just telling you that. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It's time for bed.
I wish. Alright, so anyways, Applejack does decide to mull it over, but then after an incident at Sweet Apple Acres where she tells Apple Bloom to fix up basically a simple cowboy hat, she basically gets the inspiration to try and do it.
Now you can see. Wow, that is a lot better. Thanks, Applejack. Sure thing. You know what? I am going to help Rarity judge her show. I think my sensible every pony take on fashion is exactly what the pony community needs. Rarity, I've thought about it some more, and if you still need me, I'd love to be a judge. Oh, I just knew you'd come around. Photo finish have arrived.
Probably about 5 seasons too late, I might add. Or, yeah, 5 seasons too late. Like, honestly, I think, outside of a few Equestria shorts, we have not seen photo finish in a long time. And the same thing with Hoity Toity.
That's Hoity Toity.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you.
And I guess I should probably also add, it seems like ever since green isn't your color, I guess maybe photo finish has gotten a lot more acquainted with Rarity. So I guess a lot of growth there.
Thank you both so much for doing this.
We missed you at Miss Pummel's debut in Manhattan.
Oh, so I guess maybe now Coco Pummel is no longer Coco Pummel. I guess she's Miss Pummel now. I mean, I guess he's just doing it to be nice, but like, she has a first name.
Last week.
Miss Pummel is showing? I thought she was still making costumes. You haven't heard every pony with any pony is talking about it. Oh my, you're absolutely stunning. Sure is great to hear Miss Pummel is doing so well.
Yeah, they're not referring to her as Coco. They're calling her Miss Pummel. What, is the word Coco all of a sudden offensive in the fashion world in Equestria?
Who is this who speaks? Oh, this is Applejack, another one of the judges.
So, Judge, what do you think?
Oh, wow. That is just wow. These are clothes? The photo is upside down. This is... She looks like a disco ball. Did they have to roll her down the runway? I can't believe any pony would actually wear this. Am I right?
Oh, my!
I think.
Okay, so you could probably tell by my reactions of not only just being tired, but probably one of the main problems with this episode is that it is basically predictability, and I think, as I've said many times at this point, predictability is not a bad thing. It's the journey that would make the episode good. And the journey to this episode is crap. It's not very good. Because you pretty much want to see, just get to the point where we basically get the tenuous things when it gets boiled over. Where basically Applejack is basically brutally honest to the point where it is comical. In a bad way, because it's basically and I get what the episode's trying to do. Trying to be honest about an opinion without being incredibly blunt about it. And honestly, with this kind of scenario, this is kind of like what my family is like watching Project Runway, because whenever we see a dress that the contestant puts out that for whatever reason we really just don't like and think it's absolute crap, for whatever reason, the judges that think that the dresses that look bad are all of a sudden art, and the judges that, see, I can't focus tonight. But you get my point. So, basically, in that sense, it seems like it's sort of a retrospective that Applejack is just like me and my family, where we're just being blunt about a dress that we just don't think is very good, and Hoity Toity and Photo Finish are pretty much the judges of Project Runway that consider to be the dresses that look like crap to be art. It's just really funny in retrospective when really it's not. and it's just not very good. As we basically then get to meet the contestants, first is this really self-centered, generic influencer pony voice that just makes me want to jab my eyes out with a spatula.
Song, exactly, but more like how the wind carries the bird's song.
Powerful, yet at the same time, fragile and delicate.
And the next 2 minutes is just meeting all of these other ponies and hearing their fashion designs.
I'm not interested in what's already been done, only what will exist in the future.
And it's not really all that interesting, so I cannot believe I am doing this joke, but...
Padding, 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 padding.
Yeah.
You have a very full, efficient, a strong sense of what you...
Okay, so just to save you some misery, Applejack finally blows over and basically says that a lot of the clothes don't make a lot of sense to her and ends up pissing everyone off.
They'd be doing all kinds of crazy fashion-y things.
And thus, because of that, Rarity ends up getting depressed, and we do actually get one of the few funny scenes of the episode.
Tough to swallow, but hopefully her candor will help the designers achieve the best designs possible. You seem a little stressed.
Alright, so to this episode's credit, we do get quite possibly one of the few funny scenes of this episode where it actually gets interesting and something actually happens. It's basically when Pinkie Pie, who was actually playing a guitar at the beginning of the episode, gives it to Rarity and she decides to shred out all of her emotions.
Sure. Much better.
And keep in mind, those 5 seconds of Rarity playing a guitar are as if it was an electric guitar, like something out of Guitar Hero, was more interesting than what was going on in the entire episode. Which leads to the biggest problem, because you know exactly what's going to happen, it's boring. I mean, I've come across a lot of boring episodes, but this episode just tries my patience because just again, I think just to save you some misery, Applejack basically becomes incredibly brutally honest and ends up pissing everybody off, and Rarity gets upset about it, and the two end up fighting.
Everything okay? No. It is the opposite of okay. The judges have quit. The designers have dropped out. The show is cancelled. Oh my god, it's just squashed. My god, it's soft.
And isn't that why you wanted me to be a judge?
And then that leads to another problem, which is Applejack. Okay, this is kind of what I was leaning to before. The moral of the episode is not bad, where you have to try to find the balance of being honest about an opinion without coming off as blunt. But I think, just like the Hero of Tomorrow pointed out in his top 17 worst episodes of MLP, which this episode was on his list for, I think, like what he said in that video, is the timing of this episode itself. If this was an episode that came out in, say, either Season 1 or Season 2, I could be a little bit more forgiving of it. But this is Season 7. You would think that the writers would know better by now.
For my honesty?
Of course. But you said fashion is ridiculous.
But it's my opinion, and I'm not gonna lie.
The one mantra that everybody who is an internet reviewer says about anything. And even then, it is not really all that interesting. And we get to the conversation of basically Applejack getting a taste of her own medicine, and then realizing the error of her ways, and the fashion show is on, and then it's all good, and blah-blah blah blah blah. It's not very...
Sorry, but I couldn't pick just one. They all did great, and in my opinion, they all deserve to win.
Or in the case of a reality show, there are no losers.
I agree. I told you your perspective would be beneficial.
Is this one of your new designs, Rarity? It's the form is reminiscent of...
Ghastly.
Because it...
I think this might have been one of my shortest reviews in a long time, because Because that was Honest Apple, and really, what am I supposed to say? Honestly, this episode's not very good. I mean, the journey to get to the moral is really painful in and of itself. Just watching basically the fashion designers talk, and while it is funny to see Applejack basically hold in these honest opinions and kind of a retrospective of seeing shows like Project Runway, it's not that interesting of an episode, and quite honestly, you could just breeze through mostly everything and you really wouldn't miss anything, really, because you would basically figure out all the beats and points of the episode where you know what's going to happen, and you just want to, like, fast forward through everything just so you can get to the moral much faster. I think the only reason why I breezed through this episode was because this episode really just gives me nothing to work with. Like I said, if this episode came out in probably either Season 1 or Season 2, this could have been a good episode and I would be a little bit more lenient with it. But again, this episode came out in Season 7. You would think that the writers would know better right now, but I think it also doesn't help that this episode actually had new writers of this episode who, for whatever reason, was not given DVDs of the first 2 seasons to see how these characters work, or probably the later seasons would definitely help. But yeah, Honest Apple is really not that good of an episode. I think really, honestly, I'd probably give it a C-. It only escapes being in the D ranges is that the episode is just not bad, but it's just way too predictable, and it just gets kind of way too preachy at points. So, yeah, Honest Apple, C-. Okay, this is not how exactly I wanted to get back to reviewing this episode, but hopefully next time I'll be looking at an episode that will give me more meat. So I'm Flip King Gamer, and next time we will be looking at a royal problem. Yes! An episode I can work with. See you guys next time. Bye.